Hi guys, Ready here. So tomorrow we're gonna get this SSR selection box, the Quantum Cipherbox here, and it contains a lot of SSR. Almost every single SSR already included in the game other than the LD unit and also the newer SSR unit here. But basically you are able to pick one. But what are you going to pick is probably what you are actually asking as well. So this video here I'll be covering about this Quantum Cipherbox. I'll be putting them into a tier list method. What is the priority based on what I think about it. I'll be explaining them as well. And also going through into two category. One is if you don't have the copy of this unit, and the second one is if you want to get dupes for that unit. Okay, so this is the list based on what I think about them, like what is the priority. If you don't have the copy, so let's say you're a new player, you don't have any single of the SSR, and what are the priority based on what I think. So the highest priority in my opinion is actually Freya, Fuchu, and Ninfonel. Why? Freya can actually be used in PvP and also PvE, right? No matter what turn 1 or turn 2 player, you're able to use Freya, depends on what kind of situation you want to go for. And PvE, she's basically one of the best supporter. She can provide you turn meter push, she can provide you nightmare debuff to the target to do additional damage. She provides you heal, she can even use Fortissimo to AoE heal for your team as well. And also turn meter push whenever you apply buff is so universal, and Freya is definitely the must pick. If you don't have Freya, definitely get one copy of her. She's gonna benefit a lot. Okay, let me zoom in a bit more. Then for Fuchu, same for the case, both content is playable. PvP wise, one of the best healer for the turn 2 playstyle, and also if you are playing in PvE, when you're going for like the very hard stages that you want to just brain dead and just go for stall team, like let's say you go for Rahu plus Fuchu plus Sanya, that like probably like 3 healer and 2 DPS, or probably Tiamat with 4 DPS for like specifically for the stages to just stall out the team. Fuchu is basically one of the best, right? And also being used in the Nitro Quarry as well, because if we talk about PvE, once you complete every single content in the game, the only end game PvE is actually in Nitro Quarry, and Nitro Quarry Fuchu usage is actually pretty good because she provides a very consistent healing and also turn meter push at the same time. So it's a very good support unit if you don't have Fuchu. Okay, so definitely get Fuchu or Freya if you don't have them. Then the last one is Ninfonel, cause Ninfonel here after the buff, right, gives you like attack up and defend up, depends on the unit usage, and also give you damage deal increase. So even though she slightly got nerfed in a way for the attack buffer, for the attack skill DPS, cause attack skill DPS actually needed the 80% attack up instead of 40% attack up with 25% damage deal. But Ninfonel is still one of the best buffer in the game in terms of PvE or PvP as well, because if PvE wise, the unique buff she gonna provide, she gives you AoE heal as well, she gives you immunity as well, she gives you shield as well, and also attack up or defend up, and also damage deal, basically boost up your overall team damage output. So you in Nitro Quarry for the end game PvE, you will also see a lot of usage for Ninfonel. In PvP content, she have her own usage as well whenever you need an immunity or a buffer unit. It's an overall the highest priority in my opinion to at least get one copy. So if you have these 3 units already, then the second priority comes to Chloros, Aya, Rosa, and also Rahu. Why Chloros? Because if you really want to compete in the PvE content, especially in the Nitro Quarry, which is a previous major PvE event, we already saw how good Chloros is, and I suggest you to actually get one copy of Chloros, but after that you still need to invest Lattice, obviously. Then Chloros can actually carry your Nitro Quarry account pretty easily. Okay, he does a lot of damage, and then if you're chasing for high score, Chloros is actually a must for PvE content. But if you don't care about Nitro Quarry, then Chloros is probably around like 3rd priority. But I put Chloros higher because I do notice that there's a decent amount of players that actually don't have Chloros at all. And if you really want to compete in Nitro Quarry, Chloros is actually a must pick. Then Aya is very good for both content, PvE and PvP, because of the AoE turn meter push, and also AoE CD reduction is a very good go-to. Then Rosa, for turn 1 player, is a very good usage for PvP as well if you do out of DPS option. And for PvE, she's actually the queen of DPS, so I'm putting her as 2nd priority. Then for the Rahu here, PvP, one of the best bruiser, and for PvE is also doing a very good assist damage. The damage from Rahu is actually very good, and also with defense break. So that's why I put Rahu on the 2nd priority. So the 3rd priority here depends on your own usage, because it's very situational. Like Remoka most likely is just going to be used in Doki Doki, right? But it can be replaced now. And then Ziada as well, it can be used in PvP. But PvE wise, previously we used for Doki, right? But we have so many new Animus that actually does better now in a way. But Ziada is still being used for the store team for PvE wise, and also in Infinity Train for Brinded. But you kind of replace her easily when you have Ray Mary, right? So I will put that in third priority. It really depends on your choice. Then if you are a PvP player only, then I will be recommending this unit here that is listed in the PvP only, because they are very strong in mainly for PvP in my opinion. Then depends, because Linglord everyone will get one copy, so the dupe really depends, right? So the rest here is not included in the SSR selection, like Santek, like SSR Dating, and also Nevet are not included in the box. So this list here is based on if you don't have the copy of if you don't have at least one copy of them. So it will unlock the available of them to actually play in the content, right? So I'll be going through the next one is if you already have them, and if you are chasing for dupe, which one you should actually go for. Then if you have every single copy of the Animus already, then you are thinking about which dupe is actually getting better, right? Let's say you go to P2, probably unlock some effect accuracy, might actually be helpful in certain situations. So this will be my list. If I have every single Animus in the game, then depends on what content you want to focus on. So for PvP wise, if you want to focus on PvP, then the dupe I would suggest for is Tiamat, Hoyen, Rahu, Holden, and also Brock here, because they are mainly the DPS unit, and usually the DPS unit wants the dupe because you get additional stats. They give you, probably gonna give you like crit rate up or probably crit damage up. It's very important for them. So for PvP only, if you're a PvP focused player, then I would suggest these 5 of them, and then you pick one. Like for example, Hoyen, most likely is the star currently, is doing a very good job in PvP content. So I think many players actually going to get Hoyen, I guess. Since Tiamat, we already get 2 times of the dupe from the previous Wishbinder, so I don't think they are going to get Tiamat again. Then for PvE wise, there's only 2 options, which is going to be Kloros, obviously one of the best damage single target dealer to the bosses, and also Rosa, one of the best multi-hitter damage to the bosses. So for PvE wise, if you want to more focus on Nitro Query, then you want to consider about Rosa and Kloros between them. Then the depends here really depends on the content you want to go for, and also do you need the effect of the dupe. Like for example, Bat Speed here is a very good option for Nitro Query as well, and also for PvP, but it's not probably the famous option compared with the other 7 unit here. Let's say in PvE, Bat Speed PvE is going to do pretty well, but based on a previous Nitro Query option, so let's say when the boss is red color, and Bat Speed should have gotten the best MVP damage dealer, but in the end the best damage dealer is still going to be Kloros and Rosa. But so it really depends on that bosses and also the element restriction. If the element restriction does not let Bat Speed have a very good combination, then Bat Speed damage is not going to be it's not going to out DPS Rosa or out DPS Kloros, something like that. So same for Kokadi, Lilith, Veronica, Celine, Mia, and also Nahor. Like for example, Nahor, the P2 gives you additional effect accuracy. So if you want that effect accuracy, so let's say if you're P1 Nahor, you want to get a P2 Nahor to get at a 12% effect accuracy, then it's a good thing to go for. But personally for me, I'm going for either Rosa or Kloros because I want to focus more into PvE content instead just PvP. I changed the name a bit. It's called Skippable because I think the dupe doesn't make a major impact for their content specifically. So let's say most of them, you'll notice that most of them are actually a healer, and the healer usually doesn't need that dupe required because most of the time the dupe required is actually the DPS, while healer here, they are the supporter unit, they don't do too much of an impact usually. So I would rate them as skippable. Probably health kick here might actually go up to depends because the shield is actually pretty good, but I personally, based on my experience, I'll be putting health kit as skippable at the moment. Then if you have dupe, then mainly focus on a DPS unit. Alright, so that's all for this video. Feel free to comment down what you guys think about it and what Animus you're actually getting from the SSR box. So personally for me, I'm aiming Kloros or Rosa. Alright, so see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.